Hi, today we will talk about the Keystone curve, the path of the least time. For that, let's go to the park to find Bob, Anna and John. Oh, there they are. They have decided to race down the slides. There are 3 slides. Anna thought she should take the first slide. As it was just a straight line, it was the shortest. John took the third slide because it will take him straight down due to its extremely steep surface. Having no choice, Bob took the second slide. Now let's see how their race went. Let's watch it in a slow motion. Hey, Bob won the race. Anna and John were confused. They lost in spite of applying maths and laws of the physics. Hi Anna, you chose the straight line because it was the shortest. There was no other force than gravity to set you in motion. John, you knew that gravity accelerates falling objects, so you chose the third slide where you directly fell vertically. What you guys did not know was that the speed of the motion of the body along an arbitrary curve does not depend on the horizontal displacement. But Bob got the slide which had steep slope and short length. Well, let me ask you this. With only gravity to move you, what's the fastest way to roll or slide from a point to some other point below but not directly below? Would that be a straight line? Well, that would certainly be the shortest path. But when you fall, gravity accelerates you, and falling vertically a lot right away would mean having a higher top speed during most of the journey, and that can more than make up for the fact that a path like this is much longer than a straight line. But of these two considerations, accelerate quickly and don't have too long of a path. What is the optimal combination? Finding the answer, the path of the least time, is called the Brachistochrone problem. And it's been around for a while. Galileo thought the answer was a path that's just a piece of a circle. But he was wrong. There's a better one. And in 1967, Johann Bernoulli came up with the answer using a very clever approach. To see how he solved it, let's start with a similar problem. You are standing in some mud and you want to run to a ball in the street as quickly as possible. Now a straight line would be the path of shortest distance. But if you can run on a pavement much faster than you can run in mud, the path of shortest time would be one in which you spend less time moving slowly in mud and more time on the surface you are fast on. The angle at which you should enter the pavement depends on how fast you move on both surfaces. As it turns out, when the ratio between the sines of these two angles equals the ratio between your speed across both surfaces, the resulting path will be the optimal quickest solution. This is called Snell's law. Light always obeys Snell's law when it changes speeds. Like when it leaves a medium in which it moves slowly, like water, and enters in which it moves more quickly, like air. It always refracts according to Snell's law. In other words, light always follows the route that is the fastest for it to take. Bernoulli used this fact to tackle the Brachistochrone problem. Light changing speed is analogous to falling object changing speed. But of course, a falling object doesn't just speed once. Its speed is always increasing. It's accelerating. To mimic this, using light, which Bernoulli knew would always show him the fastest possible route, all he had to do was to add more and more thinner and thinner layers in which the speed of light goes faster and faster and faster. And well, there it is, the brachistochrone curve, the path of least time. Roll down a track like this and you will beat anything rolling down any other path every time. Bernoulli was clever enough to realize that this curve can be described in another way as a roulette. Specifically, he noticed that it was a cycloid. The path traced by a point on a circle rolling along a line is called a cycloid. Brachistochrone is used for improving your experience on roller coasters. Like this. It also has a bizarre property where no matter where I start an object on it, when I let go, they always reach the bottom in the same amount of time. Because of this property, a brachistochrone curve is also called a tautochrone curve. A tautochrone or an isochrone curve is the curve for which the time taken by an object sliding without friction in uniform gravity to its lowest point is independent of its starting point on the curve. So remember, no matter how far you start, no matter who you are always the winner. Thanks for watching.